As someone who produces music, that is to say, trying to, I listen to music 24/7, and at times I realize that the track I'm listening to just feels different. Like sometimes it's slightly faster and makes my brain go yippee, and sometimes it's slightly slower and like the electricity is slower today, I guess. I thought I was alone in this until I found some random guy on Quora asking about the same thing, but the answers that were provided in the comments just didn't quite hit the spot for me, like energy levels, circadian rhythms, being a descendant of night hunters. Anyway, I decided to do the research myself. A man listened to the same song for 3 days straight. This is how his organs shut down. 4J is a 19-year-old man presenting to the emergency room in a Family Guy death pose. Throughout the 3 days I subjected myself to various conditions which people online have reported to change the speed of the music. The first obvious culprit is time of day. You listen to music during the night, it sounds fast, you wake up in the morning, it sounds slow, so what changed? Well, all I can say is that I was way too tired at 3 AM to properly pay attention to whatever was going on in the track. It felt like it was way harder for me to think, like make coherent thoughts and stuff. Like the refresh rate in my brain went from 60 Hz to 30 Hz and the fabric of time itself bent and sped up twofold to compensate. What I did not expect is that in the morning the music also sounded faster. Maybe it's because I'm usually drowsy in the morning and can't think at all, or maybe it's just all make-believe and in the end this video is a waste of time, I don't know. Anyway, it slowed down back to normal later in the day, and some people on Reddit also reported the same thing, that music sounded faster in the morning and then slowed down during the day, so I'm definitely onto something. Well, later in the evening I decided to drink some alcohol and move on to the next possible culprit, chemical influence. The experts of Reddit say that alcohol made music play even faster, which it did. Yippee! I mean, maybe that's true, the only evidence is this text document on my desktop which I don't remember writing. And it's written with several grammatical errors and more than several swear words. Yeah, definitely could not be me. Next up I tried the second chemical in the lineup, caffeine. It is commonly known that caffeine is like a little corporate pizza party, makes the worker neurons happy, makes them work more for the same amount of pay. Scientifically. So I swallowed an entire energy drink and proceeded to sit alone in a dark room and analyze. Having a lot of energy, I could easily concentrate on the song and perceive it fully in its full glory. It did almost feel like it slowed down, and I certainly did not slow down. I was sitting in the dark room very energetically, but the song did, in comparison, it slowed down. Yeah, it is slower than me. I am faster than music. I shall strike down God. And after the energy drink wore off and I crashed, I took the opportunity to try out the next theory, that body temperature affected music speed too. I believe the science behind it is that the dilation or constriction of blood vessels affects the blood flow to the brain, changing how well the brain is being supplied with oxygen, and consequently changing how well the brain processes information. Really, the previous methods came down to just energy levels, so this could be new information. I took a cold shower and damn, I need to take those more often. I came out of there feeling like a new person, with a new perception of the world and a new perception of music speed, and yeah. Yeah.
Definitely get some earthy tones from this one.
Definitely just a little slower now, I think. Really, at this point in the experiment I had a clue as to what's going on, and this belief brought in bias. I had to finish the experiment faster before my bias rendered the entire project unusable. So the last thing I tried was listening to music during my workout, and just as the most athletic community online has prophesized, some music did seem slower. Though I did not start listening until about halfway into the workout, because I knew that if I started listening immediately, the change in speed would be too gradual for me to notice. I had to put the music on when I knew for certain that something changed in the body. And I also jogged back home for good measure, since some theorized that perceived music speed was related to heart rate, and yeah, nothing changed. The heart is just one part of this big blood supply system. I don't doubt that for some people music speed and heart rate change simultaneously, but correlation does not necessarily mean causation. If you may recall, when I did the experiment with alcohol, music sped up for me, yet my heart rate at that point in time was high. That is because alcohol causes the release of a hormone called cortisol, which increases heart rate and blood pressure. Being drunk and working out both cause heart rate to increase, and for different reasons. And since music speed changed differently in both experiments, music speed and heart rate are not correlated. Yet between the experiments that did lead to the same outcome, caffeine, workouts and cold showers, alcohol, morning drowsiness and late night exhaustion, there was one common thing: changes in brain blood flow. Basically, the heart pumps blood to the brain, supplying it with the oxygen it needs to turn glucose into usable energy. The more oxygen the brain has at its disposal, the better it will convert glucose into energy, and the better the overall processing capabilities will be. That means the faster the blood can get to the brain, and the more oxygen the blood has, the better the brain will work. Studies have shown that the speed at which blood is supplied to the brain, or cerebral blood flow velocity, changes throughout the day, and it just so happens that it's the lowest during sleep and in the early hours in the morning. That means the time of day directly affects how well the brain is supplied with oxygen, therefore it affects how fast you process information, and therefore how fast the music is. That explains why music felt so fast to me when I stayed up late and then also after I woke up. Now what about the other factors that were tested in the experiments? Caffeine constricts the blood vessels and increases heart rate, making blood travel through the body way faster than normal. Combine that with the ungodly amount of sugar in an average latte or energy drink and you got the absolute best meal a brain can get. And the music slows down. Workouts naturally increase the body's demand for oxygen. That causes the heart to speed up, blood pressure to rise, and breathing to become more rapid. All of that contributes to acceleration of blood flow and the amounts of oxygen in the blood, therefore increasing the brain's thinking capabilities. The music slows down. Cold showers cause the blood vessels to constrict. Blood has to be pushed through a much more narrow space, which also accelerates the flow and contributes to better thinking. Music slows down. And alcohol just makes you slow down. You knew that already. Don't drink alcohol. And yeah, the music speeds up. Anyway, now you know why music sounds faster or slower sometimes. Be sure to share it with everyone you know so that they too may experience the horror of knowing that our perception is entirely subjective and fundamentally flawed. Anyway, see ya.